Hello and welcome you once again in this new session of English literature. And today's topic is the unforgettable lunch. It is a funny story about a lady who always says that she don't eat too much. But actually how much she eat, it's about that one day she went to a lunch and that lunch was really an unforgettable. How much she has eaten. It has been written by W. Somerset. So now let's start with this funny story, a humorous story. It's about a lady. The writer is saying, I saw her at a play and in answer to her call, I went out during the interval and sat down beside her. It was a long since I had last seen her, and if someone had not mentioned her name, I hardly think I would have recognized her. She addressed me brightly. Writer is saying that one day I met her in a play, and it was a long time ago. I met her, and if someone had not said her name, it was hardly that I would recognize her because she has so much has been changed. Well, it is a many years since we first met. How time flies. We have grown old since those days. Do you remember the first time I saw you? You asked me to a lunch. The writer is saying that it was a time has been passed when I met her last when we were young. And I asked her, do you remember when we last met? And you have been asked me for a lunch? Did I remember? How could I ever forget? वो कह रहा, yes, I remember. How could I forget this? It was 20 years ago. At that time, I was living in Paris. I had a tiny apartment and I was earning barely enough money. Barely enough money means very little earning. Very little earning. And at that time, he was in Paris. She had read a book of mine and had written to me about it. I answered thanking her, and very soon I received another letter from her saying she was passing through Paris and would like to meet me. That lady actually read her book of this writer, and she wrote a letter to him that she is passing to the Paris and she would like to meet him. But her time was limited, and the only free moment she had was on the following Thursday, and she asked if I would like give her little luncheon at Foyot's afterward. Foyot's is a restaurant, and it was so far beyond my means. Beyond my means the writer, he was not so rich at that time. He was living in a Paris in a small apartment. He wrote one book, and that book was written by that lady. She was passing through the Paris. She wrote a letter to the writer that please come and meet her in a luncheon, and the restaurant's name was Foyot's, and Foyot's at that time was a very expensive restaurant. That's why he's saying so far beyond my means. So far beyond my means, more expensive than his one could afford. It was much more expensive according to his afford. So that I had never even thought of going there. I had mere 80 francs to last me and rest of the month, and simple luncheon should not cost more than 15. So he said, I have only 80 francs with me, and the simple luncheon should not cost more than 15. But I would have to sacrifice my coffee for the next fortnight. Fortnight means less 15 days. I answered that I would meet my friend at Foyot's on Thursday at 12:30. The time was 12:30. She was not attractive but had an imposing personality, and she gave me the impressions of having more teeth, white and large of even, and that were necessary for any practical purpose. She was talkative, but since she seemed to want to talk about me, I was prepared to be attentive listener. She was too much talkative and I was just a attentive listener at that time. It was a little shocked when the menu was brought, for the prices and were great deals higher than I had, but she reassured me. I never eat anything for luncheon, she said. And the most vital thing, the most shocking thing was when the menu card came. But what she said, she assured me that she never eat anything for luncheon. Oh, that, don't say that, I answered generously. I never eat more than one thing. I think people eat far too much nowadays. A little fish, perhaps. I wonder if they have any salmon. So she said, I don't eat so much, and I hope they have the salmon. Salmon is one of the fish, name of any fish. Well, it was early in a year for a salmon, and it was not an on the menu. But I asked a waiter if there was any. Yes, a beautiful salmon has just come in, and it was the first day they had. I ordered it for my guests. The waiter asked her if she would like to have something while it was being cooked. No, she answered, I never eat more than one thing unless you have a little caviar. So she said, no, I don't eat anything. I eat only one thing at a time. If you have a little caviar, caviar means fish eggs. It is an expensive dish. Fish eggs of fish are very expensive dish. So she said, if you have a caviar, I never mind caviar. You can bring that. I thought to myself that I just could not afford caviar at all. And the writer was thinking that he had not so much of money. How could he will be afford caviar? But how could I say that to my guest? As far as I was concerned, I selected the cheapest dish on the menu, and that was mutton chop. I don't think you would eat meat, she said. I don't believe in overloading my stomach. Again, she said, no, I don't want to be overloaded. She ate the caviar and she ate the salmon. She talked gaily of art and literature. She was eating the salmon, she ate caviar, and now she was happily talking about the art and literature. Now, I thought of myself that I just could not afford the caviar, but she ate the caviar. When I asked her for the mutton chop, she said, no, I don't, I eat only one thing at one time. Then she said, I see that you are in the habit of eating of heavy afternoon meal. I am sure it's a mistake. Why don't you follow my example and just eat one thing? Now she said to the writer that it seems that you have an habit of eating too much in the afternoon. But you must follow me. I eat only one thing at one time. I couldn't possibly eat anything more unless they had some of the giant asparagus. Asparagus means, see, asparagus. Asparagus is a kind of underground root vegetables. I should be eat to leave Paris without having some of them. Now she said that I would should be sorry to leave. That means she wants to eat asparagus also. My heart sank. Now, as soon as she said that she wants to eat asparagus also, Writer said that my heart sank. It had been them in the shops, and I knew that were horribly expensive. My mouth had often watered at the sight of them. I knew it that it's a very horribly expensive means it is a very expensive food item, and I always try to avoid that because it's so much of expensive. I'm not at least hungry, but my guest side. But if you insist, I don't mind having some asparagus. I ordered them. Now I ordered the asparagus also. Aren't you going to have any? No, I have never eat asparagus. Now the writer is saying, no, I have never eat the asparagus. We waited for the asparagus to be cooked. Panic seized me. Now I am getting panicked. It was not a question of now of how much money I should have left. How much money I have left to for the rest of the month, but whether I had enough to pay the bill, it would be more mortifying to find myself 10 francs short and be obliged to borrow from my guest. And now I am thinking if I have to pay the amount, it is a mortifying means a shameful to my find myself because I know that 10 francs will be short in the bill, and that 10 francs I have to borrow from my guest. I knew exactly how much I had if the bill and came to me more. I made up my mind that I would put my hand in the pocket and with a dramatic cry start up and say it been picked. Now I am thinking that I will say that I will dramatically start to cry and put my hand in my pocket and I will say, oh, my pocket has been picked up. The asparagus appeared. I watched her thrust, then down her throat to large mouthful. At last she finished. Now she has eaten as soon as the asparagus came, she finished that asparagus whole. Coffee? I said. No, I asked her, do you like to have a coffee? Yes, just an ice cream and coffee, she answered. I asked her a coffee and she said, just an ice cream and the coffee. I was past caring now, so I ordered coffee for myself and an ice cream and coffee for her. You know, an ice cream and coffee, she answered. You know, there is one thing I thoroughly believe in, she said. As ate the ice cream, one should always get up from the meal feeling one could eat a little more. She said that one must leave the meal just have a feeling that she can eat a more. Are you still hungry? I asked friendly. Oh, no, I am not hungry. You see, I don't eat luncheon. Again, she's saying that same thing. No, I am not hungry, dear, and I never eat the luncheon. She ate so much of foods item, and now she is saying, no, I don't eat any luncheon. I have a cup of coffee in the morning and then dinner, but I never eat more than one thing for luncheon. I was speaking for you. Oh, I see. Then a terrible thing happened. While we were waiting for the coffee, the head waiter came to us bearing a large basket full of huge peaches. But surely peaches were not in seasons then. Lord, when what they call when we finished our lunch, suddenly a waiter brought what he bought? He bought a basket of peaches. And it was not the season of peaches, and I was deadly sure that it will cost more. I knew the little later for my guest going on with her conversation absent mindedly. My mind was absently. But now I knew that it was only a pretense. I was sure she wanted to have all the delicacies, all the good food she wants to eat, but now I knew her pretense. You see, you have to fill your stomach with a lot of meat. She was referring to my only miserable little chop, and now you can eat more. But I have just had a snack and I shall enjoy a peach. What she is saying, that whatever I have eaten, it was only a snack, and now I will enjoy this peach. The bill came and I felt relieved when I could pay for it. But now I barely had enough for a quite inadequate tip. Her eyes rested for an instant of the 3 francs. I felt for a waiter and knew that she would be mean. But when I walked out for the restaurant, I had the whole month before me and now not a penny in my pocket. Follow my example, she said. Follow my example, she said, as she shook hands and never eat more than one thing for a luncheon. Again, the same thing. I will do better than that, I retorted. I will eat nothing for dinner tonight. Humorist. She cried gaily, jumping into the cab. You are a quite humorist. But seeing her today, I feel I have made the revenge at last. I do not believe that I am a vindicative. I am not a vindicative man. Nevertheless, I can say that absolute satisfaction that as a result of eating like a glutton, she weighs an awful lot today. Story is adapted by the Luncheon by Somerset Maugham. So, how much she ate? Just all the time she was saying, I never eat in a luncheon. I just like to have one food item. And she first ate salmon, caviar, then ice cream, coffee, then a plate of peach, a mutton chop, everything she has eaten. And always she was saying that I eat less in luncheon. I only drink a coffee in the morning, and she was saying that it's only a snack she have. So that's all for today's session. We will meet in our next session with new topic. Till then, have a nice day and take care of your health.